your hosts, Leslie.
I'm Oni.
We are daughters, sisters, mothers, friends, divinely created and inspired women speaking freely about the things that matter to us and those we do life with. Welcome.
Today we're going to talk about the topic of hair. I am not my hair, or am I? That is the question. Are we defined by our hair? So, what we want to first ask is, in all that we do, why is hair so important?
Why is hair so important?
What's the big whoop about hair?
It's the greatest accessory ever made.
The greatest. So not earrings, not lashes.
Yeah. It is the best God-given accessory. That's the best way I could put it. Listen, I just saw this clip of Lil' Kim and they were talking about all of her wigs. Like Lil' Kim has shown us how this one thing can make or break your presentation.
That's true.
Yeah.
Little Kim and Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
Even a lot of them. You're defined by your hair. What's her name? Ariana Grande. Known for the ponytail.
Listen, that daggone Beyonce in The Lion King.
Yeah.
It was like homegirl set for I don't know how long. All of them hairstyles for her and everybody. It was like, but the hair spoke. Even though the outfits changed, even though dancing was happening, and yes, they were singing, and there was so much imagery moving around, you could not miss the hair.
Yeah.
It's the element of us that speaks when we're not.
So hair makes us who we are.
Yeah, until it doesn't. and that is that thing of it doesn't by nature or by choice. So by choice, I'm not going to be bound by my hair. So India Irie, I am not my hair. And her protest against lifting it up as this entity that there is nothing higher than. That I'm so much more. I'm not this skin. There's more than this to me. So once we get to that space, then it no longer is. That's my choice.
That's gonna take a long time. Because when you look back at, ancestors and all this, hair has always been, like you said, a big staple. So even though hair has changed in a dramatic way, they tend to, you couldn't go out the house without your hair done. You could go out the house looking like Raggedy Ann as long as your hair was done.
Your clothes couldn't be wrinkled either. Your hair had to be.
They would give a wrinkle over some hair.
That's true.
But like, oh, you was rushing, but your hair, you were bum.
But that for us, I'll say for us as a people, that stems from the way in which we had to live from the onset of our existence, particularly on this continent. The picture of who I am, it almost was like this resistance. People always pushed and leaned to like the big afros as the resistance era for hair. But the slave woman and the little girl making sure that their hair was together when they were able to was almost a form of resistance. I'm not going to conform or be made to conform to this way that you're making me live. I'm going to look how I want to look for me and mine.
And they embraced it like back then a lot better. I think who you were and how the textures of your hair and stuff, they embraced that a lot better back then than they do now. Well, I can't say now because now they're trying to go back, transition back into it. But it was over a time where, you know, you were, and I don't know if it's by, probably not by choice, but they wore the braids, you know, they dealt with their own hair.
Mhm.
Then it got to the point where it was like, my hair is not good enough.
Yeah. But that is also when we were contending with what assimilation looks like. When I feel like I need to be acceptable in the eyes not of the people that look like me, but the people who are technically over me. So like the white um society, the white perspective of beauty. That's what set the trend. And I don't want to say that we were conforming so much, but it was like, how do we fit in just a bit?
So we kind of brought into the notion that straight is great.
Of course. What do I mean? Here again, you're talking about a people whose identity was stripped, and so the connection with my hair being a part of me and me being connected to the divine was, they attempted to strip that away.
Right.
So what may have taken hold and what we still see as ramifications of that today is the way in which we interact with our hair.
So that being said, it's like, how do we get to the point to embrace our own beauty to the point where, because you know, wigs have come around, you know, famous weaves, even though they were very popular back in the day, because you know, think about our moms and, well, grandmas, all those who had the wig that was the same hairstyle as their own hair. Say, what's the point? Really, what's the point? But it was, like you said, kind of to conform to, I'm going to this government job, let me fit in, let me, you know, let them not judge me first for my hair. And then it's like, so now that you got to that point, it was like, what brought it to, because you had the Black Power. I mean, yeah, Black Power with the afro, you know, then they did that dramatic thing with that jerry curl. And so now it's kind of like, ooh, we have this is us, but no one knows how to deal with it. So it's
conversation with my mother, and I was asking her, I said, what led you to wearing wigs? And she was like, my aunt used to take care of her hair because she never knew how to take care of her hair and actually it lasts. But my aunt got married, and she was like, I couldn't keep running over her house for her to do my hair. And so I had to do something. So she was like, I put a wig on because it didn't show my struggle with not knowing how to do my hair. Like, that's a reality. Like, I don't know what to do with it, so I'm just gonna cover it up. And then what we do with hats.
Yes, but don't you think at some point it was like, when you hearing that says somebody back in the, you know, well, our mothers kind of failed at the point of showing us or how to take care of our hair?
Yes, and no, because did they have the time?
Saturday evening.
Well, they did it.
No.
Like, they didn't. If you really think about it, and you think about the stories of our elders, they never talked about grandma showed me how to do this to my hair. I saw her and what she did. I felt her and what she did, the burning in my necks, and you know how we got that running joke of being feeling the sizzle on the back of your neck when they were trying to get the neck.
That's the truth.
But when you think about it, there was no conversation about let me show you though. It was always done to us for us. And I want to say that may have pointed to they had no time to show us. They had other stuff they had to tend to because Saturday and Sunday was the only days that they had that was theirs.
Okay, I see that. Then you had the cooking and dealing with all of the kids.
Mm-hmm. And they were domestic workers. A lot of them were domestic workers at that time. So I'm thinking about our mom's generation, right? They were the folks who went out in the dark, came back in the dark,
Yeah.
and they had to make sure the dinner was on the stove. I mean, dinner was cooked and make sure the kids were okay. But they had to do this day in, day out. And so Saturday was where they took care of their houses. But if I'm gonna I can't take care of my house until I make sure you okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna cook breakfast, I'm gonna do your hair, and then we want to make sure the clothes get clean, the house get clean. We might go out and do something else because on Sunday we want to church.
So we got into this era of the weaves. But at some point it seems like the weave became its own person. It took over. Mm-hmm. Like you see some, it's like, do you even know your hair texture? Do you know anything about your hair other than it is in a cornrow right now?
That I don't know what to do with it continued. And it moved from me putting on a wig to me going to sit in somebody's chair so they can weave in some hair. And that will last much longer. And I can live with a weave. I can possibly swim with a weave. I can go running with a weave. I can dance with a weave. I can do all of this and I don't have to take it off. I can roll it up or pin it up and start all over tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was a transition. And I really think it's that still that shift of not knowing fully how to do it ourselves. And I think for some of us, I ain't got the time to try to figure out how to do my hair.
Yeah. And it may be like for me, I think it was because I went through all the phases. Mm-hmm. It was the stigma that I had bad hair. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know. I can't even say it was a stigma because it was a reality. I broke combs. I broke the little pick things that came when they ended the dryers. Like you had the hairdresser, she would try, I'm gonna use this. When I can tell you that's not gonna work, it was like it's a problem. So then it gets to the point, like you said, you don't know how to do your hair. People fail miserably by doing your hair. And it gets to the point where if I could put this wig on, I ain't got to worry about the naps. I ain't got to, because, I've been told all my life I had bad hair. From a kid, even at us now when we have our little girls, that's the first thing you kind of look at when that kid born, like, ooh, my baby got hair, or my baby.
What is this head gonna look like?
Yeah. Like, so don't cut it in a year. Let's see where this goes. And that first kink, and now that they doing the little edges, you trying to slay your baby's edges and all this other stuff. So it's like in our day and age where you were raised with good hair versus bad hair. This day and age is pretty much raised with, what is your hair? What's the point? Like, you don't need your hair. You can buy this, put it on, and next week you can get this. So it's kind of, you can see that where it's going, like all the way wrong, even to the point where it's like people don't care what the sacrifice is with this hair.
No, and I'm gonna pay this $350, and I'm gonna buy this hair, and I'm gonna go sit in this chair, and I'm gonna have homegirl sew it on in, and we gonna work. She gonna curl it up, and I'm gonna walk one out of here, and I'm gonna flip it all around. That's how I'm living. I think it's just that thing of I want to look how I want to look. We got so much choice now.
Yeah.
Like if I want to be straight today, I can be. If I want to be curly today, I can be. I can be long. I can be short. I can be whatever I want to. I think the struggle comes when we can't or won't embrace what's really ours.
Right.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
So, for everybody that's meeting us for the first time, I am I was diagnosed, not I am, I was diagnosed with alopecia. And so for those of you who don't know what alopecia is, it is a autoimmune disorder in which your hair does not grow at all, or it was work pulled too tightly, and that causes the traction alopecia. Or like mine, the follicle started to eat at themselves from the inside, and to the point that I had none. And so the thing that I had to work with was, I'm okay with the wig on, but am I okay? Was I ever okay with what I had with the wig off?
Right.
I remember when I used to love my hair. And I had to love it because my mama was not letting me get no weave. My
Oh
mama
yeah.
was not letting me get no weave, nothing like that. I had a love affair with my hair. And then it got to this point where I couldn't do what I wanted to do with it. And so I struggled. And then this happened. And so then I was wearing wigs. And then came the time that it was like, all right, I'm not putting on a wig no more. Listen, sitting in the house for the pandemic,
Yeah.
will have you reconsider some things. I was in the house for a whole year, and I thought about going back to my job and putting on a wig to sit in the cubicle. And I was like, I hadn't had a wig on my head in a whole year.
Right.
Who about to be uncomfortable? Not I, says the cat. So it was this thing of I have to get used to. But literally, when you were talking about understanding and appreciating your hair and knowing what to do with it, that's a work.
Yeah. It
Like
is.
you got to do some embracing of self, and you got to do some deconstruction of what other people say.
Yeah.
That was heavy on why I took so long to come from under the wig, because to be a woman with no hair says things to people.
That you're not really a woman, or something is going on.
Can I be a sensual being with no hair?
Right.
Can I be a sexual being with no hair? Am I appealing with no hair? Somehow or another we bought into, and yes, there are people who feed into it, that long is it.
Yeah.
If long is it, bald ain't. And so what does that do to your psyche when you don't have a choice?
Right. And I know, like, I'll tell you a story. I have a coworker who she has always wore the wigs, like to the point where she was dating a guy and she said he would never see her without it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's not, she didn't have a problem. It's just she became so attached and so into this thing that it, to me, it took over who she was. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you weren't really yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, you had to take in and understand who you are. And it's like you refuse to do that because, like you said, you can flip it, you can do whatever. You don't ever have to worry about the process
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. So it was like sometimes it's like we get lost in who we are
Mm-hmm.
or who we let ourselves be defined by with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
So, which reminds me of this. What's that movie with the
Good.
lady? Yeah.
Which one? Chris Rock?
No, no.
Isn't it bad hair?
It's the bad hair with the voodoo.
Yes, where the girl got the hair weave
Yes.
and it
Yes.
started killing everybody. But that was so deep because will our it doesn't our um stress over the appearance of our and the way that our hair looks kill us in some kind of way?
Yeah.
It strips us of time because will we not confine ourselves to a beauty shop for hours?
Mm-hmm.
Will we, or to somebody's chair, like Nadia got her hair done, her braids done. We will do it for 6 to 8 hours with no problem.
And
We
every however often it take, however much money it take.
yes, we will be broken cute. Have sore
Man,
butts from sitting so long, but we cute though.
right.
That's the thing in that movie that I took away, that even though it was, they stretched that real crazy, but we will allow our hair to do that to us. um
Even to the point where you, because you do see it where in the movie where it was the one with the weave,
mhm.
um, she had more opportunity. She moved in, took over, and she slowly looked at the ones with natural and was like, yeah,
Yeah,
they're not gonna, like, how do you tell somebody, that thing on your head is not gonna get you nowhere? You got to change this. You got to change who you are, like we were saying, to fit in and take on what they wanted you to be. And then, you got to be mentally okay with it.
true. Because what does it say that they had to pass legislation that says that there will be no prejudice against natural hairstyles?
Right.
If I want to braid up my hair because that is the best way for me to maintain it. But if I go into an interview, they can say, no, this doesn't fit our image. What does it look like? I want to serve my country, but they tell me I cannot have braids or I cannot have locks. Those types of things that you need legislation to reverse that. So that speaks to how ingrained it's not just in our heads, like it's on a societal level that hair matters.
Now, my thing with that is, do you think if we as a African American community would have nipped that in the bud a long time ago, it wouldn't have been a problem?
How so?
Like when they did the, Black Power, I love my hair, nappy, happy, was it happy to be nappy?
Mm-hmm.
If you stuck with actually loving, or because at some point recently, it's like the education of natural hair has become across the board.
Right.
So it's like if we would have did that back then or stuck with it, would have had such an impact in our work environment that it does now.
But so then my instant thing was I don't think we had the complete agency to say we're gonna stick to this. It wasn't um that the whole people bought into it. That's first.
Okay.
And then second, we were still looking to be welcomed into spaces. So assimilation was still a thing. We had to look the part to be able to be welcomed into spaces. And to not be seen as radical and all this other stuff. So when you're talking about the elevation of a people, I don't know whether we really had that much room to say we gonna go hard in the paint and they gonna love us or not. If we looking to move up, I don't know whether we have room for that.
You don't think so?
We was just looking to get a seat.
Yeah.
You had to make room for us by affirmative action. So if you telling them they gotta welcome me in, and I'm showing up completely as myself, they still had the reins to tell us what was acceptable and what wasn't.
Because I think what I'm thinking of is when we got to the period to the afro.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, it kind of swept the nation. So it was like at that point, if you could have took the afro, then because that was out here. Some people, they did whatever with it.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like that was a bigger take this and deal with it than some of the maybe the cornrows or the braids. Like that would have been a little bit more harsher to take in from what I would get.
Mm-hmm.
You come up with some cornrows, but they took that.
Mm-hmm.
They dealt with it.
But then we got the jury curve.
That was a mess. I don't even see
We went from the
I
fro
don't see how that made it past.
to the jury curve. And that was just the evolution of beauty. Somehow or another, there was a shift. Because remember, our evolution of acceptance still parallels the evolution of the beauty standard on the whole of society.
Yeah.
So we still were trying to keep up. I don't know how much
perm come after the afro, or maybe because that's what I said. Did the perm come after the afro? Maybe that was the problem. You got that, what they call it, white crack.
it was like in line with well, remember what I can't remember what movie that was. Malcolm X. You remember in that scene when they were showing he was putting what they call him conch. They was putting the conch in his head. That's how it straightened his hair out. So perm, that lie. I'm sorry, the lie that they keep telling us no lie realizes. That was always a thing. So it was transformed. The chemical composition of it was transformed to not tear our hair out, although it made some of us bald.
Most of us, and I think a lot, because even to get back to your natural hair, you have to cut out your perm.
Yes.
So when I had my locks, I thought I was just gonna go. They was going, because if I did not perm my hair, it went back natural. Mm-hmm. But to come find out, it was not natural. Mm-hmm. So when I went to get my locks, she was like, "Yeah, you've been out without a perm for a while, but all this gotta go. You got to cut it out." Mm. So I had to start from the little what they call unpleasant phase, but perms, all of it seems like everything they come out, they be like, yes, inevitably destroys your hair. Yeah. So it's like, how do you get to the point of, and I know it's probably going to take a while, but I'm going to deal with my hair, because even though I don't know how to deal with it, I'm going to learn. It's worth learning, because I see, Keisha next to me with no edges, it's no, that is a sad, like, that's sad. When it's like you wear your weave to the point where it's like you push back, you ain't got nothing, like nothing. And then you trying to baby hair that nothing. Like, that's not baby hair. It's gone. But it's like, did you learn from it? Will you stop?
No.
Because it's like, oh, now I got to wear it because I ain't got no hair. Yeah. So then it goes to like you mentioned the traction alopecia. It's like that keeps on eating away at your hair.
Yes. Yes, but as long as they make weaves, I'm gonna forever be okay until I'm not.
So you went through the point of becoming okay with yourself and what you are. How would you tell other people, look, if you really want to take this journey to learn who you are, accept your hair, be happy with yours. And it's not to say you can't have the weaves and you can't have this, because like you said, hair is the greatest accessory that we have. We can do anything we want. But at some point, it's like, how would you tell them you have to deal with who you are and what grows out your head?
Baldness, baldies have to understand, and I say that we have to understand, and those of us who are trying to come to the place of cutting off our head because we tired of the struggle, we got to realize that a bald head is also the greatest accessory. It is just like your hair. Oh my goodness. If you have short hair, or if you have no hair, it is the same thing. It's like literally you're wearing it, but you gotta be able to have the confidence to do it. So how do you get there? Literally, you want to talk to yourself. You want to talk to yourself day in and day out in your moving toward that. I went to therapy. Because there was no amount of what I could say to myself, no amount of what my friends could say to me, no amount of what my mom could say to me that made me feel okay. But it was, and it's so funny because the therapist said what my mom said, and my mother was like, I said that to you. And I was like, I know. So she said it. So
you had to get paid for that advice. I gave it to you for free.
Yeah, but I was like, no, I paid for that. So the thing that she said to me when I was talking to her about it, and she said to me, why do you care what people say? She said, what do you think about you? If you had no hair, are you willing to struggle the rest of your life with trying to make it grow, or trying to cover it up, or continuously spending your money the way that you don't necessarily want to? Because I didn't want to. I really wanted to wear my own hair. I wanted to do it. And so it took me sitting with that and answering the question. And my answer was no. I don't want to struggle with this no more. Right. No, I don't want to hide anymore. Yes, I want to be free of what other people think. And she gave me some steps, which was go find out how to do some makeup, and get some big old earrings. Do what you got to do to make yourself feel comfortable, but don't become a slave to that. That's the one piece of advice that I keep holding on to, because I'm
nobody.
We're gonna talk about that next episode. So the thing is, she was saying, you know how we talking about letting go of the wig, but then you turn around and put on a whole bunch of makeup, right? And then you won't leave the house without the makeup. And if you don't have earrings, oh my God, I'm ugly. And so her thing was, what does it look like to look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm good today because I'm me, period. You just got to talk to yourself. And you got to say, I'm it. This is the only me I get. And rock it. And get you some head covers until you're ready to go. And I wear the little turban. I take it off. Look, I wear it now because it's cold outside. Do you understand cold on a bald head?
No, it's a whole different thing.
Jesus. I have embraced a hoodie. I have embraced hats during this time. But no, like you said, like you were asking, how do you get there? You have to talk to yourself. You have to talk to yourself to make your voice louder than everybody else's. Screw everybody else. They don't like it. They ain't got to sleep with you.
Definitely. And with that, as you talk to yourself, as you got to that coming to Jesus moment with yourself, how did it impact your relationship? Because a lot of times we do stuff for the, like you said, the pleasure or likes of others. And it's a big thing when it comes into my man's and me getting a man or a woman or whatever the preference is. It's like you are afraid to, I guess, be yourself with the idea of you'll be judged by them.
Mm-hmm. I was absolutely afraid that I was going to be judged by him. One of the things that I did though when we first got together was I took it off so he could see what he was working with in the beginning. Because you can go ahead and leave if you need hair, because I ain't got none. That's the first part. But I remember it was in 2018, and we were going. I graduated from my master's studies, and we were going on a trip. That's when I first shaved it off. I was like, I'm tired. He came home, and he was like, "Oh, so is this what we're gonna do? You could at least told me." And I was like, yeah, I could have, but I was tired of fighting. Now, I was tired of fighting in the house. I was putting on my wig going out at that point. But I was tired of standing in the mirror and going, I don't like what I see. And so I said that to him. I said, I want to feel completely like myself when I'm with you. And I need you to see me and love me as I am. Girl, that man be kissing all over my little bald head. He be massaging my little bald head. I love it. I was like, yes, I love it. He also was helpful in me getting over myself and coming out to the world as a baldy, because he was like, you don't need to put on a wig. If you comfortable, how you comfortable, I'm comfortable with it. So do you?
Yeah.
So it's a thing of conversation, and I think we have to be genuine with ourselves and with those that we want to be in relationship with. My mama didn't necessarily like it, but I had to be real with her. I'm not gonna keep fighting with this wig. I'm not gonna be hot, and I'm not gonna be trying to be me, and it's not working. I'm tired.
Understandable.
Just gotta have conversation.
And you got to deal with the what if, he or she don't like it. Am I strong enough to walk away or whatever it may cause?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the
That
question. Well, am I strong enough to walk away from the relationship if he want to act the ass and be if he want to act a fool and say I don't want to be with you because you don't want no hair. I mean, my husband told me, when we first got together, I like long hair, and I was like, I ain't got it. So
honesty is the best policy.
what I can always be is Roxanne tomorrow,
Right.
and Sheila the next, because the beauty supply store surely gives me options. But don't expect that to come out of my head. Like, you got to be real with folks, and so you got to take it as it comes. But you also got to be real with them people that you're gonna see at your job. That's gonna say some stuff, and you want to tell them kick rocks because it's your head.
Exactly. Alopecia awareness,
Yes.
self-awareness,
Yes.
love.
Know what's available. That's the other part. Because some of us we have reversible situations, but we don't do the research. We don't find out whether there are some things. What I wasn't going to do was any more injections. I endured 4 years of scalp injections. Can you imagine getting your head shot up, 20 shots to my scalp every month for 4 years? I woke up one day and I was like, I'm done. But there are people who do it and it works. It didn't work for me.
Right.
So know what's available. Know what your condition is fully. Go to the dermatologist. Do all of the tests that they're going to do to find out what's going on, what can be your reality. We gotta take the steps to make sure that we're not living a certain way unnecessarily. We want that hair. I'm gonna do what we gotta do collectively, not just put the wig on. So that's the thing. Being aware is important. Yes.
Definitely. We thank y'all for joining us Please, if you have any questions, concerns, your stories, please share with us. You can put it down below. Email us at lesino1@gmail.com. We definitely will invite you on, have talks, and enjoy just the fellowship and the growth between the community.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Bye.